watching this, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hey everybody, so I'm back for another review of Love During Lockup, Love After Lockup, Revenge Served, Poolside Season 5, Episode 58. Okay, it was basically like a failed climax. Alright, so we'll just start with the least. Crystal and Sam, I'm over them. I've been over them. I don't care that she's waiting for parole. Sam, run, go back to Oregon. We don't care. Moving on. Savannah and Bradley. Bradley's name is still spelled wrong. I know I mention it every week. I don't care. It bothers me. So she's going to pick Bradley up at a jail or prison, and she's crying like white girls do. Her tears mean absolutely nothing to me, especially when she said it's like loving a ghost. The hell with you and that slave owner's house you live in. Run me and my family members from Virginia our reparations. Okay, anyway, the mother is saying that she believes all people deserve a second chance. I can't remember whether it was her mother or grandmother, but we get the point. She was like, I don't believe you. I don't either, but maybe she's trying to be supportive, and maybe she's trying reverse psychology. Like, if I support you, then you won't want him anymore. And Savannah, you seem like somebody who they can easily pull the Jedi mind trick on. Anyway, as usual, racist white girls who sleep with black men for fun, i.e. Savannah, I know her type, is trying to talk with the African-American dialect as she holds a dildo, talking about she a real one. That shit is so unimpressive to me. And black people who get impressed with white people who imitate us, I just don't get it. Anyway, you notice how white girls like that, like her, are always careful not to procreate with black men? And when they do, they actively raise their mixed child to feel white or biracial specifically, but never black, because it's hard for them as the mother to accept, and black men perpetually fail their children, but I digress. Also, side note, whenever I see the advertisement in the corner for Toya and Reginae, I get so annoyed. Okay, first of all, because her name is Reginae. I don't care how much money Lil Wayne's daughter has come into, how much money her mother makes, how much money her father makes, or how many private schools y'all send her to, K through 12. Class is not something you can buy, and it's obvious. She's a hood rat. She's a hood rat. If she was in SWAT, Southwest Atlanta, if you know, you know. If she was in SWATs, nobody would know her from any other chick in ATL, okay? Going to Douglas High. Nevertheless, girl, bye, okay? And you need that makeup bad, okay? Especially, and not because I watched the show, because I remember her on Growing Up Hip Hop. And you just like Heavenly's daughter. And Heavenly's daughter is not cute. She's one of them with heavy makeup that need it. And I say that because I can tell that Heavenly's daughter is the type that hates on the pretty girls at school, now at college, or she may or may not be at college, whatever the case is, because she's been spoiled and allowed to feel like she was the center of attention. And when she gets in those larger social circles and people start telling her about herself, because that will happen, and she finds out she's not, she's just crazy. Anyway, Bradley gets out of the car, but that's all we see. Apparently, they're going to bring them in Love After Lockup. I probably won't be reviewing that unless I just feel the urge. Anyway, so let's get Jakima and Donnie. He has 20 months left, which in my mind is 2 years. But nevertheless, she's all over the place saying she misses her family because she needs them to support her through this. You move too far away with uncertainty to have 2 kids. And whether you are a single mother or married, when you have kids, you need help. You're going to need other help. Okay? And you have 2 boys who are twins at the same age. You need your family's help. All right? So she gets around to finally telling her father that he's not in the military. He's in prison. And his next question was, for what? And she told him drugs and trafficking. Why was it when he said, you lied to me? Complete sentence. That hurt me. It hurt me. And he was like, you know better. And the way he said it, that pierced my heart. Anyway, and he was giving them old Southern vibes. When he said, you so smart. You so smart, you outsmarted your damn self. Now, I don't know what it is, but older black people in the South say stuff like that. And I don't always know what those kind of statements mean. I still don't. But I know we'll understand it better by and by. Anyway, so she told him he has 20 months left. And he said, well, damn, that's like 2 years. I agree, father. I agree. Anyway, her father told her right when he said no uncertain terms. Don't get mixed up in that shit. Don't. Because once you get mixed up in that jail shit, it is hard to get out of it. Whether you did something or not. We've seen it before. Okay? Many a people have been caught up for things that they should have had nothing to do with. All right, so she asked him, well, what should I do? And he told her to come on back to Texas. I agree. I told her like that like 2 or 3 episodes ago, but she don't listen to me. Anyway, we find out that her brother was murdered in her hometown, and this was rough. And her father is also worried, I guess, about losing another child, because he can't be there to protect her. And he doesn't want anything to happen to her or his grandkids, who he's used to seeing every day. And that kind of stuff really hurt me. I just feel like, while you might like this guy in jail, you're not seeing him every day or at all. And your father is getting older and stuff like that. Like, you really need to get your priorities straight, Jakima. And she tells us the last time she talked to her brother, she was in an abusive relationship, which I feel bad about. And she told her brother, and the last thing he told her was that he was coming to Texas to help her get out of that relationship. And it was like 3 days later he was murdered. And she has my condolences. Yeah, that's a hard one. She said his death gave her the strength to leave, and I guess good for you. When her father said, I'll leave the light on for you, oh my gosh, I could have cried. It was just like letting her know, you are still blessed to have a father who loves you. You really are, Jakima. And who loves you like that. It's always good to have a home to return to. All right, so she asked her kids if they like Ohio. They said no, they hate it. One doesn't really know why they hate it. He just hates it. And the other one was like, I miss my cousins. They need to be around their family. They're young. And they know this person is in prison. And you done move them to Ohio for somebody they haven't even seen except for in the phone. So Donnie's response to her wanting to move back is that he doesn't know what to do. He loves her. He doesn't want to be without her. Well, y'all aren't with each other now, sir. And you live in the phone, in the words of Karen Hughes. So she asked, how is he going to solve the visitation issue? And he said, I have to write the warden and so on and so forth. Well, then write him. She was like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. And he said, I know, I'm going to tell him that. No, he ain't. He asked her to stay in Ohio on the promise that he's going to figure it out. Baby girl, go home. Go home. Go home. All right. She says she loves him and hopefully they can figure something out. I have the solution. Move back to Texas and be with a man you can depend on. Your father. Anyway, Jakima goes back to her father's house, and the twins are with their cousins and their family, which is great because they probably needed that. Her father is asking her about the ticket that she got involved in when it was sent to the house and how she feels about that. Her father was like, he's still got 24 months. Now, mind you, it's 20 months, but as far as I'm concerned, it's 2 years. Okay? And that she needs to go ahead and move back to Texas. Agreed for the second time in this review. And her father said, if something happens in Ohio, I may not have the cash to hop on the plane. Y'all know how they manipulate those prices. That man's probably on a fixed income. Don't nobody just have money for a plane ticket, but he cares about his daughter. You know how that's going to make him feel, and that's going to stress him out. Okay, your daddy needs to be more important than this Negro you've never seen on the outside or knew before he got in jail. Because we already know how people do when they finally get out of jail. Anyway, your father is aging and he misses his grandkids and he can't be with them physically. Jakima, you could fix that like that by moving back to Texas. Then Donnie calls and he's talking to her father and asks for her hand in marriage. I said, I'll be motherfucked. And she starts doing that little ghetto dance. Like, he ain't nobody to want to accept a proposal from. Just glad that M.A. asked her to marry him. And her father says the only thing he wants for him to do is take care of her the way he's taking care of his baby. Now, Donnie, that's when you should have bowed out and said, I can't take care of nobody. Jakima, you look dumb as hell kissing the phone for a man who was in jail that you've never met in person and who ruined his visitation. You want to be the wife of an inmate? I mean, who wants to be the wife of an inmate? Now, after watching this show, we obviously know the answer is plenty of people. Nevertheless, it's not the move. You are a pretty girl. You are still young. You had a career. You can get it back. You ain't been gone that long. Get your shit together. He's lying and still hadn't told you why he got moved to the hole. I know why, because he was probably moving drugs in there. Okay? That's quite the market. Anyway, Tia and Rob. So all the other people, family, friends, finally leave the hotel. He wants to show her the greatest city in the world. And I was like, where they going? Travel. He said Harlem. I died, for real. I was like, are you really in New York? Talking about New York like it's not New York? Help me. But okay, that's your neighbor. He said, what's the problem with going to Harlem? You know how I feel about my home. Was it me, or did Rob get rah-rah all of a sudden? Either they edited something out, or he went from this to this. Probably because she was calling him like he was a child before. So she said she wanted to lay up and talk. But he's like, we have plenty of time to do all that. I see both sides. Okay? So she said, I did all this for you, and you care about everybody else but me, and those people weren't there for you. And all of a sudden he calmed down. But he didn't calm down. Like, he just got real solid and stared. And then he kind of calmed down. Because I was kind of like, what's he going to do? Anyway. And he was like, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't see it that way. You know, you're right. He tries to hold her hand, and she's not here for it. And he was like, okay, I'll respect your personal space. So he is saying he wants to go to Harlem, and she brings up the Evelyn chick in Brooklyn and how he's living with her. He was like, why are you bringing her up? What does Brooklyn have to do with us going to Harlem? He wasn't even trying to go without you. And he was like, let's just focus on one issue at a time. I agree, because honestly, that fight was getting me lost. I don't like to be like that when I'm just trying to enjoy the nosiness. So anyway, so she was like, I don't know her. I haven't talked to her. For all I know, she's your main bitch. Baby girl, he just got out of jail. Okay, so I understand that you may be suspicious. He's doing all the right things. He checked in with his PO. He wanted to spend time with his family. All he wanted was some Chipotle and to talk to people he hasn't seen in a decade and stuff. Girl, you said he couldn't stay with you. And I understand. I understand totally. You got to protect your child first. And I respect that. But he's an ex-con. His options, unfortunately, are limited. Certainly getting right out of jail. He has to do what he has to do. Okay? So, So Tia and Rob keep arguing. That's all we saw this episode. She is doing shit to piss him off, like calling the person who gave him a place to stay the main bitch, even though he said she's not going to be there, even though he lied about it before. If she was, she would have been getting him out of jail if she was the main one. Anyway, so Tia, don't front like he doesn't have a reason to be annoyed. What do you want him to prove? Prove to me that's not the case. How, Sway? He just got out of jail with a new cell phone. Does he know his own number yet? Anyway, but, she wants to fight. I think it turns her on. Okay, girl, stay toxic. Gotta argue with him because a brother likes to talk it, bitch. Cardi B. Anyway, so prison in America is the worst kind of prison there is. I don't care what nobody says. In the world. Surviving any amount of time in America's prison is a miracle. Nothing short of one. He doesn't want to feel like he has to explain to you like you're the warden. Okay, Tia, I'm not seeing what you're saying. I get it, but you are tripping. You starting to pack, and he's trying to talk to her in that Teddy Pendergrass voice. See, that's why I don't mess with guys like Rob no more, because I would have fell for it. Anyway, so he's trying, girl. It ain't even been 48 hours. 10 years is a long time to not have autonomy. Okay? And then you have him taking his shit out the hotel in a mesh bag. I was like, damn, he gonna run into the cousins on the way out? Because have they even gotten out the parking lot? You know, black people like talk before they leave, even after they've left. Anyway, Tia, I think you're still healing wounds, and understandably so. Abuse is not something that one just gets over. And no shade from that abusive relationship, because I understand that takes a process and you have a child to protect. I think you're testing limits though, to see how mad Rob gets and what he does when he's mad. Not consciously necessarily, but in a weird way, I feel like it makes you feel good to know you can argue with him and he won't hit you or attack you. We've seen men act way worse just on this show. Okay, so I understand, although I didn't think this had to be a breakup fight. I really didn't think it was going to go that far. But nevertheless, we'll get to the ending in a second. Here we go with the Kaylee, Hunter, and Kate. This, I still didn't get enough resolve. Anyway, Kaylee is outside the salon crying that he broke up with her. Her friend came out and hugged her and tried to console her, and her hair wasn't even finished. Now, see, I know she a good one for that. Anyway, I'd be mad. Maybe she wasn't paying her, so maybe it's a little different. But still, stuff was in my hair. It'd be a little difficult. I mean, I console you, but once you ask me to go outside, that's a lot. So she has some really supportive friends. They are supporting her the way friends should. She does have a good group of friends, I think. He said he's going back to a girlfriend. She's going in saying, he's going back to a girlfriend to get rid of the partner who has supported him financially and psychologically. She was never his ex, darling. That's the issue. You don't deserve it. It is embarrassing that this is now recorded on TV and people will watch it for entertainment. I know you were upset because she drove her own car back from that salon and then ran into her apartment like a kid crying. I get it. But you ain't going to even drive your friend home. And then, not only you not going to drive your friend home, you couldn't even let her know, look, I'm going in, I'm going to let you in, but I just need some alone time and lock your bedroom door. You left her outside while she knocked, trying to make sure you were okay, with no answer. You talking to the microphones and producers. Child, I can't. Nick came and checked on her. Nick knew it was bullshit, but he was there for his girl and started the conversation with, so who is this bitch? Sometimes that's where you have to support a friend. Big her up. Don't let her feel like, that other chick is better than her. I know you're humiliated, Kaylee. And I know it probably sounds like I'm not being sympathetic. Probably because I have a smirk on my face, but I don't really know why. Anyway, and you don't want to hear the I told you so's. And in fairness, while her friends warned her, I think all of her groups of friends have been very understanding. I really do. Hunter said he feels bad, but then again, maybe the other ones who said I told you so weren't on the show. She didn't want to film with them. So Hunter said he feels bad, but he decided he wanted to come home to Katie instead. I knew that was going to happen. When he said Katie is the type he goes for and likes the way she looks on his arm, so on and so forth, and he typically wouldn't go essentially for a mixed race girl who is plus size. Okay? Also, let this be a lesson, not only to Kaylee, but especially to Kaylee. Never stay with a man at his worst. And jail is kind of the worst. And build him up. Trust me, he will resent you for knowing that he struggled, especially once he gets on his feet, especially once he gets out of jail. After using you and your resource, he'll resent you for doing what you did. I don't know why men are like that, but they are. It happens commonly. Okay, so maybe you can take a little bit of spiritual refuge in knowing that you're not the only one. And trust me, there is some woman that can help talk you through it, even if you can't afford a therapist, because she did it. She did it. She got the t-shirt, souvenirs, and has now learned from it and can say, my soul looks back and wonder, you gonna be all right, girl. All right. Anyway, and stop letting men convince us that we shouldn't want certain things because they can't provide it. No, I can still want it. You're just not the one to give it to me, and therefore we're done with this conversation. They will trade you out in a minute. And Kate didn't give him a dime. Ain't that something? Anyway, so we get Kate and her other lover, her dog. Did y'all ever read Richard Wright's Native Son, where he talked about the reason why white people sleep with their dogs and so close to them is because they please them sexually? I believe that, and I believe that because somebody told me that when I was in my teenage years, and it was somebody who was older, and it just seemed like real wisdom. I believed it, but they told me that before I even read in Richard Wright's. And then I remember hearing Paul Mooney talk about that, and I was like, oh no, this is something black people just do. Anyway, yeah, so she's not gonna pick him up from jail, although I didn't see when he got out of jail. But okay, she was thinking about how he would feel if the tables were turned. Kate, you are not innocent, darling. Not at all. You set him up with this bullshit, and now you are trying to act like he betrayed you. What did you think was going to happen to keep these women interested? I don't care about Katie. Next. So then we get Kaylee. And next time, get some girls with some different beginning names. Get somebody named Abby or something. Anyway, so then we get Kaylee in her car looking at the trailer for this season 1 week before it premiered. First of all, I'm not mad at Kaylee. I'm mad at WeTV for doing this and embarrassing her like we have never seen done on this show before. Y'all didn't have to do that. Y'all didn't. Y'all didn't. Y'all had enough footage. Y'all shouldn't have done that. And y'all ain't shit for it. Anyway, Kaylee's mouth was down to the brakes of her car. I could tell she was shocked. At some point, we knew they would find out, but I didn't think like this. But I imagine that hurts, and knowing it will air, and it's only 4 weeks after you got played and scammed, because to be scammed sucks. I would have cursed production out too, because at that point, you know it ain't gonna make it to Love after Lockup, so it don't matter. I'm sure women have found out this way before, like on TV, but not because the camera was following multiple women at a time. Okay, so she said it was in the back of her mind that he could have been playing her the whole time, but she tried to convince herself otherwise. It's called intuition. Just learn to listen to it. You still young. The producer said to her, oh, so you were playing B. And I was like, see, that's the kind of shit that would have made me pull my car over to the shoulder and punch that punk ass white man in his face. Anyway, I would have cursed his ass out while you up here sitting in my fucking car recording me. She was showing her white side by continuing to talk to him and explain that. Anyway, nevertheless, she had just visited him in jail a Sunday before he told her that, because they got their visitation back. So whatever paperwork there was to be done, he wanted to hit up Kaylee. He used you as a plaything, darling, and had you in jail cuddling with him or whatever and giving him hand jobs in a way he would never demean that white chick, Katie. When she asked who plays with people's emotions like Hunter, I was like, nearly everybody who has ever signed up for any version of Love during Lockup, Life after Lockup, all this other stuff, plenty of people. And you saw this show, because in order, and this is why I'm limited, but you young. But the fact that I know you had to watch this show in order to apply for it, I don't know what you were expecting, but nevertheless, you young. All right, so she shows up to the desert. Kaylee goes to the desert and says she is not going to date an inmate again. Good. That's not good for you, okay? And she's not doing any more dating for a while. I think that's also good. She needs time to recenter. I said, I agree. She said, I'm already a baddie. Okay, girl. She said it as her voice cracked and sounded like she wanted to cry. Okay? And she said he lost out. You just keep telling yourself that until you believe it. Because I know right now your self-esteem probably took a hit. Anyway, so poor thing went and hung among the cactuses. Hunter, meanwhile, calls Kay and asks what she's doing. She's at the pool. I thought her and Kaylee were going to meet him at the pool, but he ain't out of jail to see nobody at the pool. And having a margarita, and said she was with another man named Enrique, who she met in Mexico. Something about that felt racist. But anyway, so she told, just bringing somebody back from Mexico, it gives colonizer and human trafficker. Anyway, so she told him she was having a pool date, and he said he doesn't know Enrique. I was like, you ain't supposed to. And she said, well, you're getting visits and hand jobs. Enrique said, we're just going to have a margarita, chill, bro. He was like, don't talk to me. And then he asked her if she was being sarcastic. No, darling, she's not. She said Hunter ate that jealousy right out the palm of her hand. And she said she was trying to it's good to remind men that they don't have the control. They certainly don't from behind bars. And since you weren't giving him any of your money, I suggest you just go ahead and get off here. Okay? Did she hire Enrique? Like, is he a paid actor? Because he was like, please don't do what you're about to do. I refuse to believe that she hasn't slept with anybody else, because we know how chicks like her do. But she doesn't owe Hunter anything, but at the same time, Enrique, you need to get paid. Don't let her use you like that. And that's what made me think he was getting paid, because he was just kind of laughing or whatever. And I'm just like, Kate, you're crazy as hell too. And you're a scammer too. That's why you're okay with him getting money from all these other people. All right? And then people watching the show who ain't Kaylee are also pissed. Anyway, we get to the ending. Jakima still lives in Ohio and has no plans to leave. In the words of Tyra Banks, I was rooting for you. Okay, because you hadn't been gone that long. You get your life back on track, and you just give the kids something to tell their friends. Hey, my mother got another job somewhere, and it just, she had to come back. Donnie proposed to her, and she said yes. But after 6 months, she's still not even on his fucking visiting list. When Kaylee had just gotten back on his visiting list, despite what they got caught doing. Now, granted, different states, so I'm just making a point. And it was probably because he was pushing drugs through there. So or he got somebody like a Kaylee on the side. His official release date is September 2029. That is more than 20 months from now. We will have elected a new president by then, or the dictator will have moved into full dictatorship and totalitarianism. Nevertheless, what the hell? Don't give up your good years for somebody who's in jail. Anyway, Tia and Rob broke up a few days after filming. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I thought they was just gonna have a fight and we was gonna see them later. And Rob reconnected with some ex-girlfriend and moved to Miami. Said, huh? Fuck Brooklyn. He in Miami. I didn't see that coming either. He's an aspiring actor and model. And honestly, he could bull that male model stuff off, especially in a city like Miami. Tia said Rob is pursuing her, but she's not interested. I'm sure he is. He's still trying to hook up with you when he comes back to New York. But the fact that he moved and is living with an ex-girlfriend, right. Okay, so so Crystal is still waiting for her parole hearing. Girl, bye. You ain't getting out. Okay? Sam is still working overtime to support her in prison while she sleeps with somebody else. That girl, Brittany or Ashley. I can't remember her name. But I don't care. I don't like them. MJ and Willie are engaged. We don't care. It's fake. It means nothing. MJ, you cried a lot. I don't see it for you. You are emotionally unregulated. And quite frankly, I don't believe that you have not talked to Ami. So quit lying to us. A warrant delayed Willie's release, but he'll be in a halfway house soon. Yeah, I don't believe that you're not talking to Ami, but I believe that's what you told WeTV. Moving on, Savannah and Bradley, whose name is spelled wrong, will be on Love After Lockup. And maybe that's because nobody else really made it. I'm not interested in them bringing on the show. And I really think it just seems like they're just the ones who survived. So Kaylee decided she was going to purge her engagement ring that she bought herself. And a dildo in the desert amongst the cactuses. Kate and Hunter are still together, but he still has pen pals. How are they still together and he hasn't even gotten out of jail? Like, Kate is crazy too. That's why I think she's getting money from him scamming these other women, and that's why she's okay. He said him and Kaylee still talk every day, and it's still a relationship in her mind. So it's a go. And I was like, huh? Is Kaylee really talking to him, or is he just saying that on TV to act like he's the user? I'm sure they talked after he broke up with her. Or she could just be that dumb. It's not impossible. But anyway, he said Kate knows, and she was basically like, if they're so dumb enough to talk to you and give you money, then by all means, well, what does that make you, Kate? You know too. But that's why I feel like you get in a kickback. You don't already told us what you can't afford. Anyway, and then he starts laughing. I'm obviously a user. Fuck you. And you still seem to be locked up while you using. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this. I'll talk to y'all soon enough. Have a great night. I'm about to go to bed. See you later. Bye.